There we go. Alright. Just load game, hop into it. What the? Why does one say an hour and the other one say 30 minutes? Well, actually, I'll use this time to pull up guide. Weird. Huh. Weird. This one I will just be strictly following a guide because this case sucks. I guess this one is technically longer more time, so I'm gonna do the autosave. And if that's like a huge difference. 'Cause I swear I guess I didn't save maybe? I don't remember. Right, I'm on it already. Oh, and one tip for you. Huh? Me? Try not to get in the four-line detective's way. She's in a foul mood today. Gee, I wonder why. We were all questioned as witnesses. And now none of us can go home. We'll investigate, all right. Our way. Alright, that works. This is legit where I left off, just a little bit back. Somehow, I don't see us getting back to that crime scene anytime soon. I can't believe I was there when it happened. Not an experience I care to repeat anytime soon. But knowing this franchise, I will probably repeat it multiple times. There's no time for navel-gazing. Let's crack this case. I worry about Juicy. She seems to have a very loose idea of what it means to be an attorney. Of course, that's not surprising considering who her father is. Something the matter? No? Let's get cracking. I'm the only one who was there. The only one who heard Mr. Latouse's last words. The witness is Siren. First order of business is to find out what he meant by siren. Okay. Lyric sheet. You can speak to him about examine the scene, paying attention to the. You'll receive the investigation request clue. Pay the. Okay. Before I go to a new place, can I go back into the dressing room? Oh, it's you. I figured you'd come. You have to let us investigate the scene, please. You're attorneys now. Shouldn't you wait until you have a client? Latouze did tell me to ask the witness, the siren. With his dying breath, no less. Doesn't that count? Glare at me all you want. You'll get no snacks from me. Please, think of poor Lemore. Lemure. Oh well, I suppose you did find the body with me. Great, let's get to it. Right. Just try not to touch anything. She's letting us look and she's not munching. She's letting us look and she's not munching on her snacks. This bodes well. There are clues here, I can feel it. Leaving no hanger unhung, no spot unspotted. Okay, just talk to Emma. Mr. Roman Latouze, was it? He was Lemure's manager and interpreter, apparently. This was his first time in the country. So I'm guessing he didn't know many people here? That doesn't seem likely. Nor can I think of anyone with a motive to murder him. Except for one person, of course. One person? Ew. Lumiore? No one here might have had a motive, but she's from... What are you talking about? Hey, it was Emma's idea. I said nothing. It's always with the snacks. He's a big man, or was. I don't think even I would win a fight with him. Which is why whoever it was used a revolver, I'm guessing. We've sent a request to the Bulgarian embassy for more info on him. Well, you and I know more about the crime than anyone. You do? That's true. It was us who found the body. What? I guess that's what I missed for watching the concert. Hey, I wish I was watching the concert. Anything would be better than this. Well, we know the time took place during the concert. And when we heard the shot and entered the room, the killer was already gone. What? But that doesn't make sense. You came in when you heard the shot and no one was here? How did they leave the room? That window is a little too small, isn't it? Mystery of the disappearing killer. Examine. Take note of the small piece of jewelry on the floor. Is there any jewelry on the floor? Oh, what a pretty brooch. Oh, Emma? You're not going to say, "Can I have it, please," are you? Look, you may be a cute little girl of 15, but that doesn't get you any special treatment with me. Oh. It's not healthy to envy the young, Emma. It's not about envy. It's about tampering with evidence. Note to self, Emma lacks a sense of humor. Use caution. You need to learn to respect your elders a little. Something seems so familiar about that brooch. Court record! Gun. This is the murder weapon, isn't it? This revolver? That's right. A big 44 caliber revolver. Wow. I wonder who brought this in here. I thought only police were allowed to have one of those. Why are you giving me that look? I didn't do it. I didn't. Listen, I was out in the hall eating snackoos when it happened. I know. No one here thinks you did it, Emma. It's hard to tell with you sometimes, Apollo. Hey, what have I done? Wait, if the killer brought a revolver, it must mean they had planned this from the start. That's right, right? Right. So not a murder of passion or heat of the moment, but premeditated. You'll be given the opportunity to play no, I went down. Saving the scene, take notes. Ooh, wait, I need to examine this, apparently. A sort of pin fastener for attaching things on clothes. Not a safety pin type, though. So if it's not a safety pin, is it a danger pin? I suppose if you stuck it in your eye, then yeah, sure. But you could do that with a safety pin too, for that matter. Thanks for taking the fun out of my danger pin. Oh, you're driving a danger pin through my heart here. You're driving a danger pin through my heart. Yeah. Okay, just look at the body. Just look at the obvious stuff. That's a body, isn't it? Sure is. The victim, no less. Let's take a closer look. Go ahead, Apollo. You first. Me? No, you should go first, Juicy, really. Will you two stop bickering and get over here? She's munching on snackoos again. Hope she's not too annoyed. Bow. What's in front of my face? Okay. No clues here. Is that blood? Why don't you examine this one, Apollo? You know about more red stuff than I do. Yep. Says who? Something is strange about this blood, though. Is that what it looks like? Oh, his hand. Is he holding something? Apollo, look at his hand. He's holding something. Hey, no touching. You can throw all the snackoos you'd like at me, Emma. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of them. You raise a good point. I'm a bit intrigued by this scene. Let's take a look. See there? He's holding something. What's this? A keyring? You think it might belong to the killer? Certainly a possibility. What an unusual keyring. And what unusual keys. This could be a vital clue. Anything else? No. Hair dryer. I'm really in a dressing room. Yep, a dressing room. Dressing room, dressing room, dressing room. Never heard of these brands. The Borgonian. Wow. I don't think this... hangers, is that anything? They look... Oh, window, that seems important. Look, there's a little window over there. Maybe the killer escaped through that. It's barely big enough for me to get my head through. Not to mention, it only opened a crack. What? I was just saying it's possible. Right. No harm in that. Except I'm pretty sure it isn't possible. You could peek into the room through it, you know. Wait, anything else left to do in this room? Scroll the screen left and examine the revolver, examine the victim's body, speak to Emma, and present the revolver. Yeah, that's something I would miss. So this is the murder weapon? This revolver is incredibly heavy. It's been fired twice, and you can still smell the gunpowder. That's odd. What's odd? Nothing. Hey, no fair, tell us! It's just... something about this revolver seems strange. Strange? What is strange? What do you think about this revolver? Well, it's pretty big and heavy. That's right, it's a .45 caliber. That makes it one of the deadliest revolvers around. Even the police don't carry guns this big. Really? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You don't need so much power to kill some at such close range. It's overkill. I'm not sure I see the problem. I mean, whenever I go out to eat curry, I ordered extra spicy just to be sure it's spicy. Of course, I can only ever eat 1 or 2 bites. That's not a problem, and that's a problem. There's another thing about a gun this big. It's a lot of strain on the shooter. Strain? Yeah, say if you were to fire this revolver. The recoil would probably dislocate your shoulder. Ouch! It's like the shooter's a victim too. Yet the killer used this revolver, and quite well. I'm guessing whoever did it was used to shooting. Used to shooting a high-caliber weapon? Well, that's about it. I think we looked at this, just about everything there is. I guess you're right. I know how you're feeling. It's hard to know when to stop. But anything more involved has to wait until the squad gets here. I suppose. I'll go report the evidence. Sorry, but could you wait here till I get back? Actually, we have to, great, thanks. She left. What do we do, Apollo? She told us to wait. Great, now how am I supposed to investigate? Oh, well, I guess it can't be helped. Let's go. Go. Time's a wasting, Apollo. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Well, that's true, but on second thought, why not? I'm sure everything will be fine. Of course it will. Let's go. Things proceeded to not be fine. Oh, hello. Hey! Who's there? Didn't we just imagine that, did we? He was wearing a silk hat. A friend of yours? Hardly. Whoever that was, he sure looked suspicious. And then head to the stage. What is it with today? Problem after problem. You ain't kidding. It's the two leading members of the Gaviniers, Apollo. Clavier on vocals, and Darian on guitar. They're so cool. I have a hard time thinking everything of Clavier as anything but a prosecutor, honestly. Huh? That was, I think, a botched read, but whatever. What are they arguing about? Probably the case, I bet. My hog won't start. My guitar case is busted. My guitar has been burnt to a crisp. And to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was the performance just now. What was that all about? Hey man, don't blame me. You were the one who missed the cue. Me? Miss a cue? How could I conceivably get the most important part of the song wrong? How? And what was all that tiny playing of yours? Who you calling tiny? Sounds like they're having a spat. One of those differences in musical direction bands are always splitting up over. This is hardly the time. What are you two doing here? Hiya. Yeah. We were just discussing the investigation, if you don't mind. Sorry, wait, you were what? Listen, you need to confirm that with the Republic of Borgiani, or Borginia. Borginia? I'm gonna go Borginia. The Republic of Borginia. Detective Crescent. Right. Anything else? Wait, what did he just call him? Detective? Greetings. Darian Crescent, Criminal Affairs, Division 3. Hello. Criminal Affairs? Apollo, you really don't know anything about the Gaviniers, do you? Something tells me that's about to be reprimanded. The case. About the crime. Which crime do you mean? The murder, what else? Oh, that. For me, today has been a hit parade of crimes, you see? Prosecutor Gavin was singing the blues earlier, wasn't he? Something about his hog and his guitar case? Anyway, I'm afraid you know more about the killing of Mr. Latouche than I do. For now, at least. Huh? You're the one who found the body, yeah? Well, we were in the middle of a performance, no less. Aren't you going to examine the crime scene, Prosecutor Gavin? I'll leave that to Fräulein Detective. Wouldn't want to step on her toes. They're not exactly the best buddies, are they? Emma and Prosecutor Gavin, I mean. Well, what to do next? We've already checked out the scene. Prosecutor Gavin may be right. We might be the most informed, for once. Maybe Prosecutor Gavin can shed some light on things we found. I don't believe you, Apollo. How can you come to this concert and not know anything about the Gaviniers? I was given tickets at discount, but I was given the tickets. I didn't buy them. I'm not surprised. Why, even our ancestors knew nothing of America's existence once. I know America exists. But, you know, we're in Japan, technically. The Gaviniers aren't just an average rock band, Apollo. Each member is connected to the police somehow. The police? The real police. By the day they pack heat, but by the night they heat up the stage. You know what? This is maybe not a great case to do on No Kings. A fucking thing about cop. You know what? This case is actually kind of anti-cop. So let's roll with that. By day those lips interrogate. By night they sing songs of unrequited passion. Okay. They debuted 7 years ago with 13 years Hard Time for Love. Then came Love with No Chance of Parole, and My Boyfriend is the Prosecution's Witness. That sounds like a light novel. The list of hits goes on and on. This here's my right-hand man, Darian Crescent. I make the melodies and he attacks them with his guitar. He's a bit of a rogue, really. And this guy's a bit of a perfectionist. When a performance goes the least bit wrong, and he gets into this funk, just like today. I'd hope murder would be a bit more off-putting than a ruined concert. The concert today, a disaster. I'll get to the bottom of this, and then we'll see who missed a cue. The missed cue, they were arguing about that before. Great, I love nothing more than questioning tormented artists. Missed cue. What's this missed cue you keep talking about? Aha, you heard it, didn't you? From the audience? Actually, I didn't notice anything. See, no amateur's gonna pick up on that. Can you guarantee an entire audience of amateurs? No. Now take a listen to this. What's that? A mixing board. We used to record it on our concert tonight. Aren't we supposed to be investigating a murder? Well, we've come this far, might as well go all the way. I've always wanted to learn about the recording industry. This is but one of the devices used in recordings. We're a 5-part band. This lets us record each member's performance separately. You use the sliders to adjust the volume for each part. Check it out. Wow, neat! So, could you say, hear only the drum part? Of course! That's how we'll find the criminal guilty of missing his cue tonight. I'm more concerned with the other criminal, the one who kills people. You want help on the case? Then help me with mine. I guess rock and roll comes before prosecuting. Let's begin. First, we bring up the part of the performance in question. You simply choose the section of song you wish to hear up in the upmost bar, like so. There it is. Now listen. Was something wrong? You couldn't hear it? Listen again closely. The timing's a little off, isn't it? You see? There, right at the most important part. Even an amateur can hear it. An amateur with a mixing board, maybe. You're missing the point. We'll never stamp out crime until we're perfect. Perfect! Here he goes again. Right, here, amateur. You will prove my point. Not me. You will find the missed cue. You will tell us which instrument, which part is the guilty party. But how? Did I not just explain it? Move the sliders with the L and adjust the volume for each part. Then you'll find the part that hopelessly bungles the cue with L. You'll find it with your untrained amateur ears. Nothing to do but try, Apollo. I guess. I'll admit, this looks kind of fun. First, a quick review. Yeah, jump to another section of the song with L and I to switch parts. Once you've found the guilty part, press time to rock. I could fuck around with this, but that would take time. be given the opportunity to play around the mixing board. Select channel 2 and present it to the... Oh, yeah, no, the bass fucks up. Or guitar. And this part is off. Which is that, Second guitar. It was you, Darian. Well, looks like the cat's out of the bag. Ah, well, that's all you have to say? What kind of attitude lets a killer walk free, Darian? Well, that kind of attitude. Here they go again. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask about the concert. I'm starting to feel like we're just wasting time. It's all experience under our belts. That can't be bad. I still can't get over the title for that song. Guilty Love. Alright. Present keyring. I was wondering if you knew anything about this. That? Does it look familiar? Familiar? It's mine. That's my keyring. I've been looking all over for it. What? This is yours, Mr. Gavin? I knew it. Apollo, how can you make that I knew it face? This is the keyring that was... Yeah, I know. Thanks, anyway. So, where'd you find it? Actually, the victim was holding it. Like he was trying to keep it from the killer, even if it meant his life. What? What? The victim. You mean Mr. Latouche had my keys? Indeed. When will my trials be over? Speaking of trials, I've never heard Mr. Gavin whine in court like he has been today. Emma's right about the fop, I'll give her that. Apollo? Mr. Gavin, maybe we can help. Tell us about your troubles today. I really don't think that's... Tell us. And we'll keep mum about the keyring for now. You blackmailing me, Fräulein? You were saying something about your motorcycle not starting? And something about your guitar case being busted. You're well informed. You were yelling it from across the stage. You mentioned it a few times. It all happened this morning. It all keeps... It's all this keyring's fault. The keyring? It's got all my keys on it, yeah? My bike key, my car key, and the key to my guitar case. Wait, so this keyring... It disappeared. I thought I'd put it in my jacket pocket. This keyring disappeared? I had to come to the concert by taxi. How embarrassing. And in order to get my guitar out, I had to break the lock. Wait, this guitar wasn't the one that... The very one, up in flames. And right on stage, too. I actually thought that was part of the show. Crazy! And to top it off, Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Nobody told me about days like these. Strange days indeed. You think? What's wrong, Trucy? Well, I was just trying to make sense of everything. First his heart sheet queuing gets stolen. Then a very expensive tar flares up on stage. Then Mr. Latouche dies. Yes, and? Could it all really just be a coincidence? Coincidence? Meaning... Darian, can you make any sense of all this? Hey, don't look at me. What do you think, Apollo? Huh? I mean, either Mr. Gavin's having a really bad day, or all this was planned. You aren't thinking what I think you're thinking. Are you, Fräulein? I am. What? What? Hey, don't leave me in the dark with Spike here. The name's Apollo, but yeah, I agree. Don't leave us in the dark. What are you talking about? Haven't you noticed a connection, Apollo? A curious connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles today. Well, I have noticed. You know, something was bugging me too. That keyring and the guitar and the body. Slow down there, Polly. You look a wee bit dizzy. He's bluffing. He hasn't figured it out. Fess up if you're a man. You're as clueless as I am. Huh? No, give her forehead a chance. Let's see your evidence of the connection, shall we? Evidence? I better think of something pronto. Come on, let's see it. What's the connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles? Probably the keyring? But I'm gonna... Oh, present the lyric sheet. On the night of your embrace, when you stole away the keys, my heart... Why? Through the air... His keys were stolen. It's this, isn't it? A lyric sheet? The guitar serenade? What's that got to do with anything? It has everything to do with everything. Though I wouldn't have believed it if Fräulein hadn't pointed it out. What are you talking about, man? Enough with the riddles! Maybe it's a coincidence, or perhaps it means something. Don't you think, Fräulein? I do. Everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin today is predicted in the lyrics to this song. What? No way! The song's prediction. Look, just think about everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin. Let's list them in order that they occurred. While reading this lyrics, first the keyring was stolen, and not just any keyring, the heart-shaped keyring. That's right here. When you stole away the keys my heart held onto so tight, this is a heart holding keys. And next his guitar burst into flames. Burning on in my heart, fire burns my love away. And then Mr. Latouche was killed. Like a bullet of fire take my life away. But that's crazy. Yeah, no kidding. So everything that happened today here, this song predicted it all? Or perhaps it was the other way around. Huh? The criminal could have based their crime on the lyrics. But who would go through all the trouble? Someone who moved in mysterious ways, no doubt. I believe you've stumbled upon something quite vital and quite annoying, Fräulein. She looks pleased. The lyrics predicted the crime, Clavier. Seems a bit more than just a coincidence to me. I have to agree. The keyring, the guitar, and the murder. The keyring might have been dropped by accident, yet the victim was holding it. Hard to think that it was unconnected. That's true. Prosecutor Gavin as calm and collected as ever. So the criminal matched their actions to the lyrics? That sounds likely. Why would anyone do that? While we think about that, I'm gonna get cracking on the biggest crime here. I'm gonna talk to the Borginian embassy about this Mr. Latouche. Ah, right. Thanks, Darian. I'll leave the pondering of the mysteries to you. I'm out of here. A foreign national. Mr. Latouche was killed. It seems like that would have to be the point of all this. But they did more than that. They left us with not only a murder, but a mystery. Mr. Gavin sure is irritable today. Maybe this is the real Prosecutor Gavin we don't get to see in the courtroom. I've had enough, frankly. If you find any more mysteries, do me a favor and keep them to yourselves, yeah? Yeah. I guess this is all we're gonna get from the Prosecutor Gavin. That leaves Lamore to question. Prosecutor Gavin, do you know where, Lemurior is? Ah, I had to go to my dressing room. With the pianist Machi, Tobaye, of course. She seemed rather shocked by Mr. Latouse's sudden passing. The Gavanier's dressing room. Got it. Before I leave here, is there anything to be worried about? No, there's nothing to really examine around here, I guess. Interesting. Yee! Who's there? There he goes again. There he goes again. Who is that guy? Juicy? You know, he did look sort of familiar. So is he a friend of yours? No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember. Curiouser and curiouser. I'm the murderer! Ooh. Alright. Lemurior. What has happened? I heard that Mr. Latouse has died. Lemurior, you speak? I mean, you speak English? Yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Borginia. I am not Borginian by birth. But wasn't Mr. Latouse your interpreter? Ah, that. Yes, well, it was Mr. Latouse's idea. He thought it would add to the mystery, you see. Then, your pianist is also? No, Machi Tobaye is Borganian. He does not speak English. Or Japanese, or whatever. Now, please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latouze? Why did he... Actually, Mr. Latouze was... Juicy! Huh? Remember what Prosecutor Gavin said? Not a word. But Mr. Latouze is Lemurior's manager. That's not fair to her. I mean, isn't she a related party? Precisely who Prosecutor Gavin doesn't want to alert, I'd suspect. All we have told is to wait here in this room. It is very unsettling. I'm sorry. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think I could ask you some questions? Of course. I am always willing to help. She's as calm as she looked on stage. I can't put my finger on why, but I like this Lemurior. What is it, Machi? What? But you'd be alone. But what seems to be the problem? Machi, he is not good around strangers. He wishes to go out for a breath of fresh air. Would that be all right? Sure, of course. Oh, he's gonna go fuck with the body. Very well. What is it you wish to ask me about? The Republic of Borginia. That's in Northern Europe, right? I've never heard of it. It started out singing in a restaurant. Then a producer called me. Before I knew it, here I am. You don't say. You know, my dad plays piano in a restaurant. Producers tend to look for talent, Juicy. Lemurior, you're not from Borginia originally. Were you born here? Well... Oh, is that supposed to be a secret? Image is everything when you're a star. I know a bit about that, of course. Yes, it is something like this. A contract, you might say. I am also not to speak anything but Borginian in public. Image is important, I guess. She's not all image, though. Her songs are lovely. A real landscape painter in sound. A painter in what? She travels the world, turning the sights she sees into music. That's the secret to your music's beauty, right? You're very perceptive. Oh, I use your songs all the time in my stage act. I don't have to pay royalties for that, do I? Stop while you're ahead, Juicy. This landscape painter and sound, too, is an image. Yet without it, my songs would not be so widely heard. They even call you Siren of the Ballad, right? Yes. In Borginian, Limior means the siren. Siren what? I fear that perhaps already I am not the siren I once was. Machi. Your pianist, Machi, was it? He's cute, like a porcelain doll. He's very European. I met him while singing in the restaurant in Borginia. He is an orphan, yet his playing is exquisite. Soon he came to live with me. It's like a fairy tale, almost. I noticed he hardly leaves your side. Oh, I noticed he hardly leaves your side. Bleh. Got multiple voices. Yes, well, he is blind. At first I hesitated at dragging him across the world. He doesn't speak English either, does he? He had never left Borginia before we met. I made his presence part of my contract. Machi and I together are Lemior. Together always. Mr. Latouze. Mr. Latouze was my new manager. New? Yes, from 3 months ago. Around when I received Mr. Gavin's invitation to come. I met Mr. Latouze at my office. He was to be my manager and bodyguard. And as it turned out, my interpreter. Interpreter? Even though you speak English? Yes, but we were to visit more places than just here. We had a concert in Japan scheduled after this one. That's where we are. Oh, did you mean you're going to America? Did they just flip America and Japan? Though I fear that may have to be cancelled now. Mr. Latouze, from the Republic of Borginia. Was from the Republic of Borginia too. Well, he was only with me for 3 months. I'm afraid there is much I do not know about him. And now, I shall never know. No one will even tell me why he has died. I'm sorry. Prosecutor Gavin said we want to talk to anyone. Mr. Latouze was a talented man. The siren of the ballad. The phrase was his idea, you know. I am happy for him that it has become so well known. The siren? That's what he meant. Huh? Apollo? You are the siren, right, Lemior? That is the meaning of my name in Borginian. Yes. It was the name my producer gave me. But why do you ask? It's very important. I had to know for sure if the siren was you. What do you mean, important? I'll tell you. You deserve to know. Fuck Gavin. The siren. It turns out that's a very important word in this case. How? When we found Mr. Latouze, he was still alive. What? I heard him say something. His last words. Mr. Latouze, can you hear me? Yes, witness. Hang in there, Mr. Latouze. Tell me. Who was it? The witness is... He said siren? Really? I was the only there to hear, but I'm sure that's what he said. Mr. Latouze said that? Ask the witness? And you're the siren, Lemior. Did you see what happened? Lemior? Might I ask, are you with the police? Well, no. I'm a defense attorney. An attorney? Yet there have been no arrests, yes? Is that a problem? Does an attorney not work for a client? If you have no client, you should leave the investigation to the police, I think. But, Lemior, I am so sorry, but I cannot answer your questions. I'm afraid you lack the authority to ask them. Why? If she witnessed the crime, why won't she tell us? I believe we are through here. I believe so. No, not what I meant to do. Want to see my attorney badge? Look at it. I'm an attorney. Don't take a look at this. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what to say. Don't worry about it. Alrighty. I guess go back to the hall for now. Or not. No, I have to go back into the room. They fucking lied to me. Now I look at the I looked at the postcards earlier. Look, it's a postcard of Lemieux. What are these letters at the bottom? I've never seen these before. It must have a native tongue, Borginian. A landscape painter in sound. This is how it would translate, roughly. Please, take one. A landscape painter in sound? That's a nice image. Court record! Present. Present! That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you? My brooch, yes! Well, it may be mine. Yours, Lemieux? I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. I must have lost it. Well, that explains the brooch we found. It was Lemieux's. Thank you. I was wondering where I dropped it. So this brooch belongs to her. And that begs the question. Is something wrong, Apollo? What was this brooch doing at the crime scene? Okay, am I done now? Examine the postcards. And present the brooch. Okay, now I go back to the hallway. Do I finally talk to the weird old man? Whoa, who's there now? It's you. Where were you? Emma, is something wrong? She looks grumpier than usual. You bet something's wrong. It's impossible. The impossible's happened. It's all your fault, you know. Maybe this is about us leaving the crime scene. What do you mean by impossible? Well, it's gone. Utterly gone. What's gone? The body, stupid. What else? Mr. Latuse's body has disappeared. What? July 8th. Lemieux's dressing room. Prosecutor Gavin. From your vacant stare, I gather you've heard the news. I heard Mr. Latuse's body has gone missing. Look for yourself. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickle. How can you just stand there? We have to start the There's no need for alarm, Fräulein Detective. All entrances and exits have been sealed. The body will not leave the building. So I suggest we go find ourselves a cadaver. There will be plenty of time to ponder the whys later. Well, you seem pretty sure of yourself, Mr. Gavin. We'll find him. I'm rather enjoying this. How could Mr. Latuse's body just disappear? Well, you heard the man. Let's get searching. Hey, I don't know if this is exactly the right time, but... Yes, Darian? See, Gita's gone missing. It was in the dressing room. Gita? Who's Gita? That's what I call my guitar. You like it, man? Your guitar was stolen? This hasn't been a good day for guitars or guitars. Okay, body first, then guitar. If someone finds the guitar, please bring it to our dressing room. Gita's like a missing person, not lost and found, man. Alright. Examine... There should be a body here, but there's not. How could this have happened? Why? Anything new? Caliber revolver, very deadly. You know, Apollo, I was wondering, what's a caliber and what is 45, huh? You want me to tell you? It's the size of the barrel. Simply put, the larger the caliber, the bigger the round. The bullet, in other words. Bigger bullets do more damage. Oh, Chuck, 1 point up for forensic science. You know it. It's not 45 inches, right? That'd be too big. What's the unit of measurement they use, Mr. Science? Well... Tush, kids shouldn't ask so many questions. Anything missing? Disappearing. It just talked to Emma. Well, this is a... what did he call it? A sausage? No, wait, it was a pickle. And it's your pickle. I told you to stay in the room. Sorry. Not much else I can say. It's alright. Top priority now is finding the body. You can make it up to me later. 10 bags or so of the chocolate snack you should do the trick nicely. You should watch your sugar intake, Emma. Anything to examine here? Still after the brooch. Get your daddy to buy it. Daddy always says, choose if you want something. Go find it or borrow it. To Mr. Right. I am concerned. Someone took a bite of watermelon. Suspicious. No. Wait a second. I just noticed something. Okay, skip. That probably was fun dialogue, but... Wait a sec. Are these bullet holes? Looks like it. There's 2 here on the wall. From the look of it, the victim was shot once in the shoulder. The first shot must have missed. But there are 2 holes. Wouldn't that mean 2 misses? The murder weapon is a .45 caliber revolver. It's very powerful. I believe what we're seeing here is the mark left by the second bullet after it passed through his shoulder. Ouch, that sounds painful. No kidding. I wonder about this murder weapon. Okay, now I can head back to the stage. Does something seem different to you, Apollo? Something is definitely different here. Let's check it out. Examine the platform on stage to close out this investigator. Platform? Oh, this thing. That stage there must have been lowered before. That's the tower that Lamore and Prosecutor Gavin was singing on. Someone must have raised it. I don't see a way to control it from here. Apollo, what about that ladder there against the wall? We could use that to take a look up top. A look up top. Words. Maybe we should get Emma. What are you talking about? We have to set this sort of thing... We have to see this sort of thing for ourselves. I'm not so good with heights. Stop whining and start climbing. I didn't look that high from below, really. But when we got to the top, I felt every one of those 15 feet down. Of course, I wasn't thinking about the height anymore. Not after what we found up there. What am I doing? We found 2 things we were looking for, and 1 thing we never expected to find. The body, guitar in hand, and the pianist Machi Tobaye. July 8th, 10:09 a.m. Write Anything Agency. Wow, that concert last night sure went south in a hurry. No kidding. Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Don't look at me like that. It isn't my fault. Machi Tobaye, the blind pianist. Arrested on suspicion of murdering Lomian Latouze. I can't believe such a cute little boy could do something so horrible. I guess they had proof of some kind. What proof could possibly prove that? Morning. Prosecutor Gavin? What a night, eh? I apologize for being so upset. Mr. Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Don't look at him like it's his fault either. It was tough for me, too. We performed together that night, after all. Yet... The powers that be say that given the circumstances, it could only have been him. What do you mean by the circumstances? Lemior was invited from Borginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It is vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all the powers that be want, really. Well, those are circumstances, all right. But what makes Machi the only possible suspect? Forehead, you seem to have forgotten that you're talking to the prosecution, the enemy. Right. I think I like this side of Prosecutor Gavin better, actually. I'm not at liberty to discuss the particulars of the case. Especially not to the defense attorney. What? Did you just say me, the defense attorney? That's what I came to tell you. He's down at the detention center. He wants to request your services. You mean Machi? Machi wants me? This is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's get going. Right. Good luck. I'm off to question Lemior. Right. Later. I hope I'm up to this. Well, I just don't get it. I refuse to believe a cute little kid like that could do something so terrible. You said that already. Machi, everything's going to be okay. We're here for you. Hi. Maybe you can tell me about last night? Huh? That was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this, in a country so far from everything he's ever known. Maybe Lemior can help. But didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him? Good luck. I'm off to question Lemior. Well, what are we gonna do? That's, a good question. I can't think of anything we can do but go with this. And hope for the best at the trial tomorrow. Skibbity, Scooby-Doo. Usually they won't provide an interpreter. Like, that's not something that they can get from the local embassy. You can't get an interpreter. That seems pretty like a normal ask. July 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for... how do I say that? Machi Tobaye, Your Honor. The Pixie of the Arpeggio. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK here, Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. My opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them down when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial. The Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be, the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Come on. Toodaloo, up. 1, 2, come on.
Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
You're in luck, your judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romian Letus, age 35. The global manager for Diva Sanctus Lemior. The cause of death? Blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
This court accepts this into evidence. 45 caliber, it's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
However, the bullet struck him in the shoulder. The damage to his body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
Oh, I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
2 shots were fired. One shot missed and the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found on the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this into evidence. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, he'd break every bone in his body.
The defense will take more care in choosing examples. It is my birthday, be nice to me.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. The dressing room has only one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible.
Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person.
One person?
That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobaye.
Only the defendant could have committed the crime? How?
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear.
Very well. I assume you have testimony to back this claim? Please show the witness to the stand.
Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired, somehow.
Oh, security at the concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
No, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime scene, please. All right. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at the prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
I was lucky that a detective was at the first... It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Alright. Okay, press on the first. Okay, press on the first. I don't like this case, so I'm just going to do a guide. Night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was a detective doing on security detail, I might ask? It was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from the rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. On that day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, the whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What's this, Prosecutor Gavin? If your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
Love, slow acting, and new Aquatrain. Aquatrio 9. Aquatriqueen 9 is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killings happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor adrift in the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task.
I see. I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean time on their hands?
Please, the testimony.
Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right. When we went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. And that way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gaviniers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music is playing,
then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. I examined the scene... and then press again. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Oh!
But the air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child? Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant!
The pixie of the Arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture! Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there, you should know, Earth Forehead. And there was another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that had recently been opened. Wait, what? And it's something else was found quite clearly. The defendant Machi Tobaya's fingerprints. What? What?
Order! Order! Order!
The air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that air vent, the doorway to heaven. And that one is our Pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up at the audience. In the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Oh, quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict. Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Fortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. It can't be over already.
Very well. I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence,
the prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain. Apollo, they've got us at the ropes already. We better come up with something quick. I know. I think we can get us out of this. We need evidence, or a witness, that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that, well...
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it. And so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. I don't have proof. Alright. What do I got? Call a witness. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear to my career as a prosecutor. And my million-seller hit song, Actro Queen 9, my love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge that the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I am the only one in the world who knows this. What's going? I just talked to him. I've already read this like 3 times. Okay, well, we really are flashing back to this a lot. Like I was rereading it earlier because I did close the game. But, like, it's still, like, doing the same chapter, and I guess it's fine that this is a different chapter now, but I think you recapped this twice in the same chapter.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is what our forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear, contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than I usually is called for. Duh, there's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
And then it's, Lemieux, right? Yeah.
Lemieux?
Recall Mr. Latouse's last words.
Witness, Siren, I said this already. Let me die. The siren? You meant the siren?
That's right, the siren of the ballad, Lemior. Lemior was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lemior to the witness stand.
Lemior would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag the story out of her, no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom. Hit my mic. You are too kind.
You can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good, there is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know of how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean? She doesn't know? I, too, thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lemior suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
Lemior is not my true name, yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Lemior, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
Oh, I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lemior.
Thank you. Yet, there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lemior, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was when I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she actually was saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be. Wow, you just got badder, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Lemior wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something. I've got to find out what. Cross-examination. Okay, what I saw. Oh, this contradicts. I'm sorry, Lemior, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lemior's. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime.
What? Lemieux, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And, as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. What is the meaning of this, Lemieux? Please explain. Lemieux? Skibbity-skibbity-skibbity-da. She says English is quite difficult. That trick's not gonna work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know where I spoke of. You know where I speak of. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Gold. So, we've seen this. Stop flashing back to this. God, we keep this is like the 5th or 6th time we flash back to this. Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard a door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. So this is when you dropped your brooch. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous! You only looked for an instant, but you dropped your brooch? Her forehead? She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the scene of the crime. Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. A forehead shouting, "Who's there?" no doubt. A horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately. Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lemieux, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. Oh, we have perception available. I can perceive. When I went backstage for a moment. Perceive. Went backstage for... Okay, see if that happened when you... Oh, I saw nothing. The late Miss was behind a wall. Oh, I didn't actually... That's... whatever. I saw nothing. The late Miss Latouche's body was behind a wall. Perceive. It says the neck? Oh, she's gulping.
Gotcha!
The late Mr. Latouche's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latouche's body. You know something more about Mr. Latouche's death. You know more about the death than you are saying. What? I could see you're trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? One moment, Lemieux. Yes? What was that you just said?
Why did Miss Lettuce have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something, I knew it! Lemieux, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. How could that be? Take this. To prompt a new revision, press the investigation request. Tell me, Lemieux, how did you know he had been shot? Well, Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court. No one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Lettuce had been shot. How could you have known?
Lemieux, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. Hold the wallet. I saw the bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Lettuce had been shot. We got a diagram, we got a diagram. Lemieux, they call you the Siren of the Ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are highly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lemieux looked in from the door, but for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes? But they were in the wall the door is on. You see, assuming you were merely glancing into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Yeah,
Lemieux!
Yes?
Oh, I'm afraid the defendant has raised a good point. It appears you've been holding back something.
And I must tell you? I must tell you what it is that I saw?
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Lettuce died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemieux.
Very well. Lemieux, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there, that's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
So you did witness the crime? And the killer was a grown person, you say?
This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play of forehead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lemieux. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy, that's what's wrong. Could she be lying? Press. A grown person? That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly, you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes. His voice was quite clear. Voice?
Oh. Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you had a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice. The voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense opinion of this testimony?
It's contradictory. Though it pains me to say this. There's something about Lemore's testimony that rings false.
Bravo, Forehead. You're colder than I thought.
I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lemore has to be lying. I know. And I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting.
If it is her Forehead says.
Yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. What next? What's he talking about?
Lemure,
I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad, and lies do not become such a creature.
What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? That's my line.
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
The state of the room?
Yes, and when the murder took place.
That window was closed. I find it hard to believe that you could hear a voice through it. But I'm sure.
Lemure, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical senses, but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
So you say, and the victim named her the Siren as the witness.
That's right. That's what Mr. Latouche...
We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Herr Judge.
Yes?
The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please? I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if Lemire can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case.
Danke.
Now, where were we?
Ah, yes, I would like to hear from Fräulein Detective again. Wait, let me hear Lemire's testimony one last time.
But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as it need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
I am sorry I could not be of more assistance. Oh, I gotta... quick break. Coming! I'm back. I just had to go do a thing real quick.
At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Forehead?
I hope I didn't just miss my only chance.
Fräulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted?
Don't ask me.
I dislike saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Miss Sky.
I believe I was saying that the only way Miss Latou's killer could have escaped was through the air vent on the ceiling.
Yes, there was only one door in the room. And a witness, you, was standing in front of it.
That air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would? Not that you have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the condition for our killer is the defendant.
A virtuous performance. I couldn't have put it better myself. Huh. She does state a clear case. Though, reading the report, something caught my eye.
Oh, and what's that?
The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
The circumstances? Again? Ah, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latou's body disappear from the room? And end up on top of the stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less.
Perceptive observation, Judge. Thanks. Was kind of an accident, really. I really don't do that very much. I'm kind of dumb. But you work in this job long enough. You get a nose for these things. I'm cool.
The judge sure seems pleased with himself.
Very good, Fräulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer?
Bo-bo. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lemure's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Lemure's song?
Yes, the guitar's serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not?
Its code?
All the events that day followed the lyrics to our song.
We talked about this. We already know this. We know this already. I already read this. I'm not reading it again. Whose life was taken by a bullet.
This hardly needs explanation. Guitar and guitar up together, yes, yes, yes. That's mad! It's like a story out of some fairy tale.
I admit, I'd forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know, I was the one who first noticed that.
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, Judge.
Alright. Point that at my face.
Very well. I've heard one song and dance. Let's get to the cross-examination.
I'm not so sure I'm gonna be doing much singing. You gotta work on your dance moves. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. Song, no one in the courtroom had a motive to kill the victim. And Machi is practically left to sing. Yeah, okay, this is the same. Press on the 4th. What do you mean by his signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. The bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall.
And that means what exactly?
The dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. Weird weed. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would have been difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range.
Difficult to miss, you say?
Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No. You can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me. The monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound.
A blind shooter. No wonder he missed.
I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice. What do I do now? Raise an objection, I guess? Yeah, raise an objection. Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall, but that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see.
Oh, how so?
Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim.
That's certainly possible.
And it might have been the revolver's fault.
The revolver?
The revolver was a very large caliber, correct?
If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder.
Exactly. The defendant Machi Tobae is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing a gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim.
A convincing argument, to be sure.
Haha, take that, smug prosecution. Apollo? What? That bit about Machi being tiny and the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh.
It doesn't matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point.
Cripes, I really put my foot in it this time.
But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fräulein Detective. Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony.
Right. Oh my, that's on. From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. Yeah, it's 5. Raise objection to advise the... Choose present evidence crime photo. Present. Yeah, sure. The prosecution holds that the shooter couldn't see. A scientific conclusion based on a thorough examination of the crime scene. Yes. Apparently not thorough enough. I have a certain piece of evidence that completely overturns your claim. What? This is the evidence.
The photograph of the crime scene?
I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face. But this is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor. The crime scene. There was something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah?
Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime is...
Oh, okay, this. The contradiction is right here. I wouldn't have gotten this. The smeared bloodstains?
Oh, I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above...
I guess he's writing a message, which I probably could have examined that in evidence, but whatevs.
Much like a gesture I have seen many times in this court.
It's almost as if she wrote something. I get it. At least, I think I get it. Get what, Fräulein? When Mr. Latouche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write in his... and but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here.
Huh. That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name? It's certainly a logical conclusion. Trat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind.
Neither would I. No one has anything else to say?
About what?
So the prosecution accepts this. You agree this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer. And that the killer tried to rub the name out. What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Latouche was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was... Wait...
Once he saw what it was?
But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Oh, shit. Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court... Wait, wrong voice. Shit. May I remind the court the defendant, Machi Tobayai, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible!
Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what this all means. I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, look at this photo. It's quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet, up until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology.
Huh?
The Gaviniers are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Is he going to update the goddamn autopsy report? Hey, Apollo. Look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like, he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us? I've got an idea. Let's rock! With these documents, but before that, I have a question for the Fräulein Detective, if I may. What? Tell me, why do you think that Machi Tobayai is blind? Huh? What did you say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course? He's the blind pianist, right? So doesn't Lemoyne lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Machi Tobayai. According to this, Machi Tobayai can see perfectly well. What? His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Borginians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fräulein Detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Machi Tobayai sees, and he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problem with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe our Forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. I was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. Dah. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has flown off your brighter skies. Has flown off her brighter skies. Ugh. This is where the real fun begins, her Forehead. Yeah. No.
I knew you didn't have what it took.
You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize.
Oh, sorry.
That's no way to apologize.
He's angered the Trucy now. Look out. Help! If we could please end the bickering now. Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solve this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Don't say that. Aha! Aha what? The bloodstains. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes. We might be able to find out what was really written there. But really? You can do that? That's right, with this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood.
Ah, yes. Have we done those tests yet?
As if I'm going to tell you.
The bloodstains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform tests, the section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in the court now.
Right, go for it, Apollo. I have to do the test. You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. A chemical that reacts to blood? I've heard of this somewhere.
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Ready? It's easy as pie. Just press tutorial, give it a try. Tutorial, give it a try. Your hand's shaking. Ugh, let's do this. Wow, it really works. This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name?
Oh, maybe it is, if it's a robot.
I have it.
So, what is it? I thought those letters, IPX, looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number.
Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency?
Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number?
Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that?
Good show, Fräulein Detective. Rock on!
Eh?
Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Darian, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number.
Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27.
Oh, I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait, I know. What if Machi Tobaya is really an undercover Interpol agent?
That would be a possibility. A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why did Latouche know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know.
Well, we have some time while we wait Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machi Tobaya.
What are you talking about?
Fräulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could, in fact, see, just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you.
You had me until the last bit.
Does this not raise a rather straightforward question?
Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see?
Exactly. It makes little sense. Why do you think, your forehead?
Huh? Me?
Machi Tobaya pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He knows from the start of the trial. He's been leading us this whole time.
Oh, something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why. Oh. I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else.
does that have to do with anything?
There was a reason why Machi Tobae pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now?
It wasn't for himself?
Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows why the defendant had to feign blindness?
I haven't a goddamn clue. But that's probably not what I'm supposed to say. Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see, which means, no, it couldn't be.
Good show, Forehead. It seems you've thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. I definitely would not have gotten this.
That is... Lamior?
Lamior and Machi Tobae. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. Lamior and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they go on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go.
All times,
Yet, we have just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time?
Well, wasn't it part of their, performance?
I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. What? Really? Really. It was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamior.
What's this? So you mean to say Lamior is... She's...
Yes, Your Honor. Lamior is blind. What?
Order! This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin.
Is it now?
Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim.
The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet I see it's not very vast and vain this time. He's quite correct.
But that makes no sense.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something?
Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lamore herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room.
Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me, I had no idea she couldn't see. That was a shot in the dark, and I can't believe I was right. I haven't even imagined it until, like, after I said it. God.
Bailiff, bring in Lamior.
Lamior, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way. And yet, I must. Please, do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see. Really? It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lie born in Borganian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world.
So you are?
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamior. Know too that my memories began in darkness, though in light has no meaning for Lamior.
Oh, I see.
You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, Forehead. What's that?
I believe I said it was unfortunate the crime had no direct
witnesses. Now, Lamior, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a bit lost, Your Honor. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in the world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So, silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. Or, well, I can't see. Or, well, I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would...
She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing. Very well. Does the defense have anything to add?
I'd like to cross-examination. But what is there left to ask? There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me.
Perhaps it's best we get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well, the defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness.
Okay. There was only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that, and I'll be happy.
The fifth statement. Press.
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche? Of course. He was my manager. So he knew. And that's what's been bugging me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice? I believe I know what it is bothering your young defense attorney. You aren't thinking of when you discovered the body. You're thinking of when you discovered the body, yes?
Duh. Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was.
Oh, flashing back to this again, but I'm a live witness. Siren cold, witness, siren cold. I can't see. I told about the witness is siren. They can't see.
Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness, and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know.
Tisk. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There was no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness siren? We've heard them many, many times, along with a little play acting by our defense. I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer.
What I mean, what he said before that. Before? It came to the... Ah!
That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself.
He was talking about the witness.
I see. Too bad the defense did not. Well, go ahead. Try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time. Order! Recall Lemiore's earlier testimony.
I was on my way from the stage back. 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important... That is not the most important point here. Oh? The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through the window. Why else would he have named her as the witness?
But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots. And the man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We have already run a situation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard the voice again, I would know it in an instant.
Oh.
Your Honor.
What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in a session here?
We have the results back from the investigation.
The investigation? The Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescent, Your report, please.
I asked the Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Quick work as always, Darian.
Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPXX 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romian Latouche.
What?
Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So, when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe him away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent? So him being Lemoore's manager was just a cover, most likely. There's one other important detail I found.
Well, out with it.
It concerns that 44 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belonged to Romian Latouche. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched.
So the victim was the killer. Oh fuck, I love the voice I'm doing for Shark Guy. It eviscerates my throat when it's sensitive. After this chapter's over, which it's about to be done, I'm gonna end stream. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op? I wonder how that ties into everything. It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Nothing. So hold it. What the?
Wait!
Lemire, is something the matter?
That voice just now.
Darian.
Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him?
You aren't saying. The voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian.
Is this some kind of joke? What? No way.
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state. The trial had been suspended temporarily. I'd never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lemire fingering Darian Crescent. Not only is a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been this voice Lemire heard? Things were changing fast. And frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no wimping out now, Apollo. To be continued. Okay, so I be tired. Yeah, 2 hours is good. Who do I raid? Who do I raid with my party of anyone? You know what? Vixen's still streaming. Why not? They might be ending soon, but fuck it. Slash raid Vixen _ VTuber. I've never gotten to raid the Vixen before, so this will be fun. Bye-bye, peoples.
Young Miner? Don't speak with him. Come on, Belle. What the fuck?
Monk.